Stillwater, Oklahoma. Today is August the 7th, and this article says that it was published 2 weeks ago. So that would make it sometime the end of July 2022. The headline reads, Allegations of fraud and corruption fly against City of Stillwater. Leaked audio of Mayor Will Joyce and City Manager Norman McNichol admitting fraudulent police work and coercion while investigating child abuse investigations. Stillwater, Oklahoma, July 23rd. Warning, the article contains sensitive material surrounding child abuse. The Oklahoma Post has received leaked audio of a recent meeting between Stillwater, Oklahoma officials and a former city council member who has alleged corruption and child abuse cover-ups by the current and previous city administration. The audio was believed to be recorded by the previously unknown fifth party in attendance. The Oklahoma Post reached out to all known parties and former city council member Darrell Daughtry. Daughtry verified it was indeed the voices and conversations of Stillwater Mayor Will Joyce, City Manager Norm McNichol, and former City Attorney John Dorman. The mayor, who has recently been ridiculed for his leadership involving misuse of federal funds and botched incentive-based partner programs for U.S. Rare Earth Metals, LLC, and federal COVID loan management, has denied that his police officers have acted inappropriately in the past, but mounting evidence proves otherwise. Increasing reports against district attorneys, law enforcement, and Oklahoma Department of Human Services caseworkers involving fraud, deceit, and due process violations are gaining momentum as an increasing number of families are claiming their attempts to receive justice for their families are being ignored. The cases against Payne County and the city of Stillwater are eerily similar to Bill and Lisa Woolley's complaints in federal court. In fact, State Representative John Talley is closely intimate with the case, as he has been interviewed by Fox News' Clayton Looney to describe the abuse that has occurred against his own staff member and at the hands of DHS and local law enforcement in Wagner County. At the beginning of the Daughtry audio, a man alleged to be Norman McNichol is heard stating that he went to a DA and said they had nothing prosecutable. However, that statement only means that evidence has not been allowed to be entered or police have refused to accept the evidence. Stillwater Mayor Will Joyce asked, Darrell, when you say help your kid, what does that look like? Daughtry responded with, the PD, Stillwater Police Department, had a responsibility to look to the forms of abuse I presented. I believe they did him, a minor child, a disservice when they refused to talk to me. I would like someone who is not mad at me to accept the evidence. The crux of the cases that I have come to light involve the corruption of several Stillwater attorneys, agency workers, law enforcement, and school officials, some of whom have since quit their positions or been fired after the evidence of fraud began being presented to persons they originally denied in court documents to the federal investigators. Several families are claiming corruption, such as Gregory Moyer, who states, an investigator never took any of the emails written by me by my ex-wife stating that the kids had been abused. They intentionally lied in the police reports about who was reporting information and intentionally kept out information within the report related to her father and brother-in-law, but attempted to create lies against me when I expected them to simply do their jobs and investigate my allegation. Instead, they attempted to defraud me, other parents, and the courts. In the end, the taxpayers of Stillwater and my children and other kids pay the ultimate prices for the corruption of City of Stillwater and Judge Philip Corley. These affects last generations, and the fraud affects cases in federal court across state lines that rely on Stillwater to have integrity and honor in their legal systems. Attorneys Della Cerda and Oliver and several other local attorneys have alleged to be involved in each of the fraudulent cases presented to Oklahoma's Supreme Court and to grand jury representatives. Once considered the top family divorce attorney in the state, Melissa Della Cerda's office has now been closed and all cases handed over to new counsel. Jimmy Oliver was acting as lead in investigation for the state law board overseeing complaints, but failed to recuse himself from law board complaints that involved his or his law partners. De La Cerda's cases or clients. In addition, Oliver was caught subverting applications for legal aid services of Oklahoma in which opposing clients without attorneys in child custody cases had been seeking legal aid before having their parental rights coercively terminated and their children forcibly adopted by coercive practices. Oliver as the board of directors for Lasso. Virginia Banks has also been front and center in most of the allegations as being an attorney who intentionally set her public defense clients up for intentional legal failures in cases involving DHS and family child support in Payne County District Court. Leaked audio of Stillwater city manager. In the over 1 hour audio of Stillwater Mayor Will Joyce, City Manager Norm McNichol, and then Stillwater City Attorney, the trio admitted to several acts of police misconduct and perjured testimony directly related to the pending appellate case at the Oklahoma State Supreme Court, as well as a pending civil tort lawsuit in Payne County District Court. At the end of the recording, Mayor Will Joyce is heard stating that no one would believe Mr. Daughtry just minutes after admitting to the fraud committed by the Stillwater Police Department, once headed by McNichol. When questioned by Daughtry about the falsified evidence and statements submitted in the report, Norman McNichol can't explain the statements when pressed with corrective evidence, nor why a Stillwater Police Department investigator states that she can't have access to DHS investigatory records. The Oklahoma Post has learned that the Seville Center, Inc. of Stillwater, Oklahoma, works directly with the SPD and Payne County Sheriff's Office, hand in hand, sharing investigatory records with each other through a joint task force. The city of Stillwater is dishing out hundreds of thousands of dollars for legal fees to outside counsel in their quest to cover up and deny the mounting complaints of negligence, fraud, and corruption. Local media at the Stillwater News Press and Tulsa World have been silent on the matter, asking few questions of local leaders since the initial notice of Daughtry's tort claim was filed in 2020. With the State Department of Human Services and the City of Stillwater rejecting the claims despite the mounting evidence of racketeering, instead of choosing to black out coverage of the growing number of families making similar claims. Former Stillwater resident and Tulsa World editor Jason Collington has not covered his longtime friend Joyce's failures in office nor offered coverage of the details involving McNichol's fraudulent activities of interfering with child abuse cases. Stillwater News Press has also been silent on the police and court misconduct, never running a story regarding any of the cases. Instead, their publisher and editors have focused on monarch butterflies as their Saturday headline story. Not one story has been covered regarding the state Supreme Court petition nor the federal claim. In the pending tort action, Daughtry claims that one defendant, DHS, negligently and carelessly failed and refused to investigate the charge of child abuse as required by 10 AOS Section 1-2-102. Failed to protect the minor child, DED, from further abuse and failed to take action against its employee who made threats to Daughtry when he made the child abuse report to DHS. It all began in 2014 when Daughtry's divorce case began. His divorce was finalized in 2016 when Daughtry and his ex-wife sharing joint custody of their minor child. In 2018, Daughtry filed a motion to modify custody, seeking sole custody of his minor child due to child abuse taking place while in the ex-wife's care.